What's up, guys? I wanted to start by apologizing for not getting some footage out to you in the last couple weeks here. Honestly, I've just been super busy. Had some family in town for a few days. Directing a meet coming up in the fall here. I've been putting some work into. Been spending time getting my clients tuned up for a few meets, and then just hammering through my own training. So honestly, just life kind of got in the way, and I apologize for that. But training's been going really good. Nothing to worry about there. Weight's on track. Everything's right where I'd want it to be going into World. Just kind of got to hang together for another few weeks here and see what I can put together on the platform. Before I get into the training clips, I want to share something with you guys. And I'm going to start by telling you a little story about when I was in Russia 3 years ago now, I guess it was already. And when I was in Russia, the talk of the whole meet was SBD knee sleeves. That was just what everyone was talking about. Only two teams were allowed to wear them. That was the British team and the Russian team because they were sponsored by the company, and no one else had heard of this brand before. And there's these rumors floating around that you get 30 kilos out of these knee sleeves and all this crazy stuff like that. So obviously everybody wanted a pair. They wanted to get a leg up on the competition, and no one could get their hands on them because they weren't for retail sale. They were just for the sponsored teams. So after the meet, I actually emailed Ben, I think it was, and asked him, how I could go about getting a pair of these knee sleeves. I wanted to try them out for myself. And he asked me if there was anyone in Canada that I could set up as a distributor for his company, SBD, because they were going to be sold to the general public. They just hadn't been officially released yet. And I set them up with Inner Strength products here in Saskatchewan, and they've been the only retailer in Canada for SBD products ever since. And as a thank you for setting them up with the distribution rights, Inner Strength gave me a free pair of knee sleeves. This was way back when, and those are actually still the same sleeves that I wear in my videos today. So they've served me pretty well for 3 years. Anyways, the story's kind of gonna come full circle because I think 2 weeks ago now, just after my last video, I was contacted by Ray and Ryan at Inner Strength, and they actually brought me on as a sponsored athlete by SBD Canada. So that's actually super cool. Super proud to represent the SPD brand. I think what they've done for powerlifting and raw lifting in particular has been phenomenal. I think they're going to be a big part of what happens with powerlifting going forward and in the future. So really want to give a big shout out to them for reaching out to me and letting me represent their brand. I'm super proud. That's that's a big one for me. What they do is something that that I'm proud to represent. So going forward, I'll be sponsored by SBD, and go check out Inner Strength products if you want to pick yourself up some SBD gear. Now we will get on to the footage. Alright guys, so while the footage rolls here, I'm going to voice over it like I always do, but this week I'm not going to pull a question from the hat. I'm going to talk about a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and that is consistency. I think consistency is something that gets overlooked a lot in the strength training community, in the fitness community, as a whole, I guess, and the reason for that is people want success right now. They're looking for an immediate result. There's all these people that jump all over get a six-pack in 6 weeks, or put 100 pounds on your squat in 3 weeks, or all these kind of specialty programs that offer some sort of crazy result in a short period of time. But in reality, what happens is some sort of yo-yo effect, I guess, where maybe you're one of the lucky few that does receive a ridiculous result from something like a small off squat program. But in reality, there's nowhere really to go from there. You can't increase your intensity further. You can't increase your volume further. And if you do, you're probably going to break down. And people just really aren't willing to take the slow, small, calculated increases over time, which is really going to get you to where you want to go. But there's too many people that are looking for that immediate result right now and aren't willing to put in the time and put in the effort to get to where they want to go in a realistic amount of time. and uh, and that's something that I think is super, super important. For myself, this entire calendar year, I set myself the goal to go to Worlds as a 74 kilo lifter. And for this entire year, I've been focusing on coming into this meet the strongest that I can be at 74 kilos. So in that time, I had to bring my body weight down from the 83 kilo class to the 74 kilo class. Obviously, with my goal being Worlds a full year later, it wouldn't be smart to just crash diet, drop all my calories, and end up as a 74 kilo lifter that's weak and sad. I wanted to try and come in big and strong and 74 kilos. So what was I going to do to achieve that? I was going to put in a consistent effort from the start of my goal to the end of my goal, and slowly drop my body weight and drop my body fat percentage over the course of an entire year, along with my training volumes and intensities adding up to be the highest and the heaviest that they are right before Worlds. So that meant that last summer my training was boring as snot. It was light, it was voluminous, it was, nothing that anyone would probably want to watch, and my diet would have probably been similar, and that's something that people aren't willing to do, is look at the big picture and realize where you want to be at the end of the year, at the end of next year. If you were to gain 5 pounds on your squat every month for the next year, you're looking at a 60-pound squat increase. If I was to squat 60 pounds more than I did right now in a year from now, I would be freaking pumped. But if you were to tell somebody that they're going to put 1 pound on their squat every week for a 4-week squat cycle, and they're going to put 4 pounds on their squat this cycle, they'd probably think you're crazy and you're a crappy coach. But no one's willing to look at the big picture. It's something that is challenging, and it's something that takes experience to gain that understanding, and it's one of the reasons that it's so valuable to have a coach that can look at that big picture and that can pull the reins back when you got to pull the reins back, and step on the gas pedal a little bit when it's time to step on the gas pedal. And it's very hard to do that for yourself when you just want to lift. When you're a lifter and you're a competitive athlete, you want to be strong and you want to be the best all the time. But in reality, that's not really the case. There's lots of times where the best athletes are not, doing what you think they would be doing in the off season, and they would be beat by somebody that is peaked and ready to go at that particular time. But the goal of any athlete is to come into the biggest meet or the biggest competition of the year, of the season, and be the best that you can be right then. And lots of times it's a coach that can make that happen for you and just let you go and lift and let them do the calculating. That's actually what I did for my diet, was hand the reins over to a good friend of mine, Mark Morris. He's the owner of Poly Health, and I couldn't be more happy that I did. Coming into Worlds, honestly, in the best shape I've ever been in my life. I feel like I'm as big as a 74 kilo lifter could be, lean and strong, and I feel great. So I couldn't be more happy with the work that he's done with me. I'll drop his contact information in the description if you are interested. And I think that's all for today. So I hope everyone's training is going well. Hope you enjoyed my rant, and I'll see you guys next week. We're about 2.5 weeks out from Worlds here.